If you find yourself spending more than you should, spaving may be the reason.
And Under the Median viewer, Rebecca, just sent us a link to a CNBC article yesterday that discussed the concept of spaving. Now, if you're wondering what the heck is spaving, we'll tell you about it in this video, and we'll tell you why we think it might not be such a good thing to do and how you can avoid spaving.
But first, if you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
We will link the original article in the description of this video so you go take a look at it. In short, spaving. Spaving is where you spend money to save money. Spending, saving, together, spaving.
Have you ever heard of the term spaving? We had not heard of it.
Tell us in the comments section. Let me give you some examples to clarify exactly what spaving is, and once we describe it, then it will make perfect sense to you. Buy one, get one, 50% off. That is a form of spaving.
Amazon offers free shipping if you spend a certain amount. And I think we've all been guilty of trying to reach the minimum that you have to have in order to get free shipping.
Upsells. This is what happens when you're ready to check out and this little box pops up that says, while you're buying this, would you also like to buy this? And generally you will assume that it's a special price that they are offering that item at if you purchase while you're looking at it right there in front of you on the screen.
Quicker shipping is another good example of Amazon Prime. They'll ship much quicker to you, usually within 2 days, if you spend the money to become a Prime member.
Limited time offers. This is only available on this page. You'll never see this offer again. This offer available for 30 minutes. In short, it's any incentive, which encourages you to spend more money. Now, it may be just a little bit more money, but the long and short of it is it's always more money than you intended to spend. And that's just one of the problems with spaving, guys. We have a whole list of a few other things that we think are problematic when it comes to spaving.
Yes.
One of the problems is that you convince yourself the deal they're offering you is the best price available on that product.
Stick with us, because with all the problems that we're bringing up about spaving, we're going to bring you some solutions. Spaving will also cause you to buy items that you won't use. You'll buy the item, you'll set it aside somewhere in your house, and a year later you realize you haven't used it because you really didn't need it in the first place. It wasn't what you were looking for buying when you were on their website.
And because you've gotten in the habit of clicking that buy button, it actually contributes to your brain desiring that feeling of buying more and more and acquiring more and more.
One of the other problems is that you're not going through the processes that you normally go through to purchase an item. Normally, if you're following some of the things that we've been sharing, you're going to do a lot of planning, a lot of research. You're going to compare prices. You're going to go to different stores, different websites, and you're going to find that you're going to get the very best deal on the best product possible. But when you get a spaving offer, chances are you're just going to click on it and do it without going through those processes.
Now, you'll notice that we gave you several examples of what spaving could be, and also some examples of the problems that could come about because of spaving. But the long and short of it is, if spending too much money is something that you really feel like you need some help with, grab our free guide to saving money. It's 10 steps that we took when we were saving for great big goals on a low income. We give you step-by-step instructions and checklists for each of the items that are in the guide. The guide is free, and there'll be a link to it in the description of the video. It is 10 ways to radically reduce your expenses.
So Hope and I have laid out the groundwork just in a brief way that explains that spaving isn't necessarily a good thing to practice, but how can you avoid it?
You must exercise self-discipline.
Yes.
Nobody is going to stop you from hitting the buy button or succumbing to the spaving technique. But how do you do that? Because I think that's a broad term. You go, well, just develop some self-discipline. No, we're going to give you some step-by-step ideas as to how you can do that. These are practical. They won't take you a lot of time, but here's what they will take you. They will take you practice. Once you start incorporating some of these ideas we're about to share with you, it will become second nature for you to be able to say, no, I don't think so. I'm going to wait on that.
And that is the first thing you should do, is wait on that purchase, no matter what they say. Give it 24 to 48 hours. That gives you plenty of time to decide, do you really need it? Is this something you want? Do you have the money for it? Do you have it in your budget? It'll give you some time to process what you're doing.
Here's something else you can do. You can phone a friend. Now, if you are a couple, if you are in a marriage, the phone a friend should be your spouse.
Yes.
You should be working together on financial goals. And that is the one person that I call. And Larry, let's
Same
be clear
here.
about this. He's not giving me permission to spend that money
No,
because we really have a relationship that is based on equality, on equal partners. But what he may tell me is, don't we have something just like that at home already? Which, it happens. Or he might say, I think we're really focusing on saving for that trip we're taking. And I feel like that's just really going to draw us away from that goal. Maybe this is something that we could wait on, or we can do a little more research on. That's where your partner becomes your best friend who helps you to figure out, do you need it or do you just want it?
Another thing you can look at is, what are your written goals? That is your guideline in order to know exactly how much you want to spend and what you need to be buying. And if you're doing this spaving technique, chances are you're eating into the money that you need to apply to some of those written goals.
Let's talk about something else written: spending limits.
Yes.
That's those numbers on your monthly budget categories. That's your spending limit, right? One of the best ways to limit your spending is to pay with cash. The truth is, if you've got cash in hand and you know you're not willing to slide a credit card or a debit card or write a check, you're limited to the amount that you have in your fist at that moment. It's super helpful because spaving, it happens in person. Doesn't it? We go out to a restaurant and they're like, buy one, get one 50% off. Buy this, you get the appetizer for free. Free is that wonderful 4-letter word that we're like, free, 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 free. But maybe it's not free, because maybe maybe you have to buy a meal that is a certain amount of money before you get that free appetizer. So we just want you to be aware, this just isn't an online thing. This is something that happens in your daily life. So sometimes that cash envelope going to be super helpful.
By the way, Hope brought up something while we were researching and doing the actual generation of this script that I thought was very good. And that is, if somebody's offering you to buy the first item and pay full price and get the second item at 50% off, what they're really doing is giving you both items at 25% off. So you're not really saving as much money as you think you are.
That is the key, guys, is to do the math. Do
Yeah.
the math, do the math, do the math. and ask yourself, would I be willing to buy this same product if I walked in a store and it said special sale 25% off? And if in your head you're like being honest with yourself and saying, no, that's still too high priced, well then buy one, get one 50% off is still too high priced.
Yeah. The next strategy that you need to follow is, don't wait until the last minute to purchase the item that you have planned to purchase. Give yourself plenty of time, because when you're doing things at the last minute, that's when you can make a knee-jerk reaction with this spaving process. And by the way, Hope and I are equally guilty of having fallen into this from time to time. It's not like we've never done it. So that's why we're doing this video on it, to kind of help us too, so that we can avoid getting involved with it.
That is the first thing that I thought when I went to the article, because I'd never heard the term spaving. And I thought, oh, been there, done that.
Yeah.
And whenever that happens to us, the first thing we do is run into the studio and decide to sit in front of the camera. Because if we have done it, we figured that y'all might need some help on it too. One of the things I think you always need to be aware of is, just because they are offering it to you at a special price doesn't mean it's a special price.
Right.
You need to take the time, open a new tab, guys.
Yep.
Put into the search bar whatever that item is. Maybe it's available at half a dozen other stores less expensively than the price they're offering it to you for. Or maybe if you go to that exact same store and you search for that item, you might find that even though they're offering it to you on that checkout page, it's the regular price. You have to be able to know what you're buying, and if the price that you're paying is truly a sale price, or if it's just a regular price.
Kind of related to what Hope was just talking about, when you go to the grocery store and they have an item there that with a spaving offer, generally speaking, it's going to be a name brand item because companies want to offer these things in order to sell more. But if you look at the generics, you're probably going to save quite a bit of money just buying the generic or the store item of that particular thing that you want to purchase.
I got to be honest, guys. We're really enamored with this new word. I feel like the next time Larry wants to buy something, I'm going to say, are you spaving? Or do you really need that? Look, if you are in the boat and like either spaving is new to you, you've heard of it, you just like the term spaving, you're digging the information we're giving you, would you do us a favor? Hit the thumbs up button on this video so YouTube will share it out with a whole bunch of other people. And then we'll have everybody, like all around the United States, all around the globe, using the term spaving. Wouldn't that be cool?
Another strategy that you can do that'll keep you from falling into this is know what you already have in your home. Do a quick inventory on that item that they're offering for a special discount and make sure that you don't have something already similar to it in your home.
Here's another thing to check that you may not have thought about. Check your emotions. Did you have a super good day? Sometimes we just buy stuff because it's a Friday or it's a holiday. I mean, we can make up a lot of excuses, right?
It's sunny outside.
It's sunny outside. or conversely, it's cloudy and raining outside. I feel like I need to make myself feel better by buying something. I had a good day. I had a bad day. I talked to my mother. I didn't talk to my mother. I mean, there's so many different reasons.
We can come up with so many excuses, can't we?
For spending money. I think you got it. It's a moment of self-reflection and self-honesty to ask yourself, why am I buying this thing in the first place?
Now let's talk about setting up some safeguards against spaving. One of the things, I think this is very important, is not to put that temptation in front of your eyes to begin with. Now I know sometimes you just can't help it. There's so many ways that stores and places online will bring a product by you. But make sure you understand that's temptation. If you understand that, you're not as liable to fall into it.
But do you really need to hear from them on a weekly basis about what they have on sale? I think that's where people get caught up and they feel like they owe stores like a loyalty after they've been on that store, like Wayfair. I was on Wayfair's list for a long time. I finally unsubscribed. I'm doing what I'm telling you to do right now because I think just having that come in and seeing, of course, they're going to tell you a sale up to 75% off. And you're like, by golly, that's a good sale price. They got 2 items on sale, 75% off. Everything else is 25 to 40% off. It's just putting yourself in a position where you're going to want to buy stuff that maybe you're not ready to buy. It's okay to unsubscribe. They will welcome you back later if you decide to resubscribe. It's okay.
And along with what Hope just said, don't window shop, because window shopping can lead to you letting go of some of your money that you don't want to. Remember that you only want to purchase something when you're doing the research for it. Now, I found out this week that we don't have to replace our lawnmower. I had a friend see my post on Facebook. I mentioned it on Facebook that we were having difficulties with the power drive on the mower. And he said, I'll come over and take a look at it for you. And he found out that a long time ago, one of the wheels had been changed and they put in a plastic gear, which is now all worn down. And that's what's causing the problems. So we ordered 2 new wheels with the metal gears that it originally came with, and that's going to be fixed. We won't have to replace it at all. That saved about $500 to $600. That was from doing the research and asking people a little bit about the problem.
See, honey, it wasn't your fault that the wheel came off of the lawnmower.
I am so glad that wheel came off now because that was the damaged wheel.
Here's another one that you may not have thought about. Whenever you check out, there's a thing that pops up on the screen that says, would you like to save your payment information for the next time that you purchase? That seems so convenient, doesn't it?
Yes, it certainly is.
The problem is it's a little too convenient. Take that information out of your profile on stores that you have bought from in the past. Here's what we have found happens and why this works. The amount of time that it takes me to physically get up off the couch, walk across the floor, dig out my debit card from my purse, go back to the couch, all of a sudden it's like the scales fall off of your eyes and you're like,
what am I doing?
yeah. And you realize, and we've talked about this before you buy something, this is what we mean when we say take a beat.
Yeah.
Just wait and think. We are giving you a lot of information in this video about ways to stop unnecessary spending.
Yes.
There are actually some other habits that you may be indulging in that are causing you to overspend consistently month after month. We did a whole video on some of those habits. The video's right over there, guys. I think it'll be super helpful for you.